everybody! Today's video is going to be my experience in cosmetology school or beauty school or hair school, whatever you want to call it. So I'm going to quickly go over certain points and give my personal experience, but I'm not going to go into too much detail because I do want to sort of make this a series and kind of want to do videos based on what everybody wants to know about certain parts of my experience. So I'm going to go over and just kind of click off the points that I think most people will want to know. So if you want to see the experience that I had in cosmetology school, then please just keep watching. So I went to a cosmetology school as an adult student, meaning I was not in high school, but there was high school students and adult students that sort of worked next to each other once you got on the floor. And I did not go to a chain school like Paul Mitchell or Grandin's or anything. I just went to a privately owned cosmetology school about 40 miles from my hometown. So I did have to travel 5 days a week going to cosmetology school, and it was basically like a job. I was there from either 8 or 8:30 depending on the time of year, because they did go by seasons for regular school year and then summer. And then I believe we left at 4 or 4:30, and you had to take, I think it was a half-hour lunch. So that part did not count during your day, whether you clocked out or not. And then there was a late night, I believe it was like every other week or something. There was a late night where you could stay until 7 or 7:30, just depending on the time of year. So I'm from Michigan, and you need 1,500 hours to complete your cosmetology school before you can even go and take your state boards, and it took me about 10.5 to 11 months to complete. I basically went full-time. I only skipped a few days here and there and left early just a few times, so I was able to complete it in pretty much the time required for going full-time. And then I went and took my state boards after that, which I will probably do another video on, just to kind of like preparations for state boards. But my actual experience itself was not too bad, but it also was not the greatest. And the reason I say that is I went through school, I did my schooling, and I passed both state boards the first time around to get my license. But what I did not like was the fact that as an adult student, I did have to deal with high schoolers, which obviously brings on high school drama. I had already been out. I was on my second year out of high school and was sort of over that whole drama scene, completely wanted to just take myself out of situations, but for some reason, drama just happened. So going in as an adult student, there was maybe 8 or 10 of us to begin with, and then it takes about 2 or 3 months before you can get on the floor, because you have to practice on mannequins and go through all of your schooling portion with like the book and everything, and then you have to pass quizzes and tests to be able to get to work on actual human clients. So that part was fine for the most part. It was up in the upstairs away from the high schoolers. The only time you saw high schoolers from my specific experience was when they had to walk through to get to their classroom, and then when they had to walk back out a couple hours later to get back on the bus to leave to go to actual school. So we didn't interact really other than saying hi when they walked in and out. And then it was a small school setting. We practiced on each other before going onto the floor. And then once you were on the floor, you had to share a station with a high school student, because they were only there for like 2 or 3 hours. And then there was 2 different parts of the day where you had 2 different students, if that kind of makes sense. And I'm only speaking from my experience. Obviously, I'm not quite sure how other schools do it, but that's how my school did. You would have your station, you would have to share in the morning with one student, and then you would have to share during the afternoon with one student. So obviously that is where drama happened, and sometimes I was not involved, and then other times obviously I was somehow involved, whether I liked it or not. And I think I've mentioned in a few videos, I was severely bullied my senior year in high school, and going through cosmetology school with high school students and other students made me feel like I was back in that spot in my life, and I could not handle it. I went home crying a few times and just was ready to be over it. I actually had to talk to one girl that I don't want to say she was a bully, but she definitely picked and made fun of people, and I was one of those people she made fun of for whatever reason. And I did have to confront her, and I told her that I basically did not want to go to cosmetology school anymore because of her. She felt really bad and did apologize, and after that it wasn't that bad, but I did have to have that one-on-one as an adult student with her, just to let her know that, hey, I know you're probably just trying to poke and pick fun at me, but I was severely bullied, in high school and I don't appreciate what you're doing to me now because I really don't even want to go to school anymore. So I had that talk with her and that was fine after that, but obviously here and there was other drama that went on. So for my actual experience working on clients and mannequins was not that bad. You had to get so many points in the school that I went to. So I completed those mostly on mannequins. And then before you could graduate, you had to have so many points for each section, like perms, rollers, haircuts, colors, things like that, like waxing and everything. You had to have so many points for each section. So I completed that before I graduated, and then you can pretty much do whatever you wanted after that. So like I keep repeating, this is only my experience. I know that it's probably different for a lot of people in a lot of schools, but where I went to school, it was not the best clientele coming in and out. It was a lot of people that couldn't afford to go to another salon. We had a few lice outbreaks, and it never got really far other than the client, but we had to completely sterilize everything and shampoo each other with like the tea tree and everything like that to try to get rid of the lice invasion that basically happened. And I don't want to come off as harsh or rude or mean or anything, but it was a lot of people that were dirty, and that was not the best. And that was mostly just because it was not a high-end cosmetology school. It was in a smaller town, and that, again, I was not a huge fan of. I'm not a foot person. I don't really like doing nails other than shellac manicures in the salon, and I did have to do a few pedicures, which I was not a fan of. And so that's basically what turned me away from not wanting to do pedicures in the salon, even though my licensing says that I can do nails. I basically just focus on shellac manicures on top of hair. So that is just the gist of my experience through cosmetology school. Obviously, it is pretty broad and open, and like I said, I completed it in 10.5 to 11 months, and that was it. But if you guys do want more specific details on certain parts of cosmetology school, I would be happy to answer those. But like I said, that was just my experience. I was happy to get it over and done with. It was not the best school, but I did pass state boards the first time around, and I was very happy about that. So I hope this quick video was a little bit helpful for you guys, and like I said, if you have any questions or want me to make a part 2 to this, please leave those in the comment section. I will be happy to answer those. I wasn't quite sure what you guys wanted to hear for this first video. That's why it was just a quick one and just like a quick experience video, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to see more videos from me, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye everybody.